welcome to another video. Today I'm going to take you down a slightly more negative road than usual, and I'm going to talk about 10 books that I have on my shelves that I'm probably never going to read. So I suppose I should unhaul them, but I don't know. We'll see. I feel funny about unhauling books in case the mood ever strikes me that I might fancy that book. But as of right now, these are 10 books that I have on my shelves that I'm probably never gonna read. So, without further ado, let's get into it. These aren't in any particular order, they're just the order I've stacked them in beside me, but there aren't some that I feel worse about than others. They're just as I pulled them off my shelf. This is how I put them down, so that's how I'm going to go through them. One on the top of the pile is Little Wolves by Thomas Maltman. This is a book that I have started 3 times. I can see where my bookmark once was because it's damaged the paper slightly. So I got, how far through this? 130 pages through this. Seems to be the furthest I ever got, but I honestly started this book like 3 or 4 times and never finished it. So I don't think I ever will, quite simply. This is about a murder in the late 1980s. From what I know from the first 130 pages, a guy went a little bit crazy and killed a police officer in his little village. The first chapter of this is why I bought it. Like, I read the back and stuff. Little Wolves weaves together elements of folklore and Norse mythology while being driven by a powerful murder mystery. So I was kind of more on this train for the mythology and the folklore, and what I got was much more of the murder mystery. And I'm not really a murder mystery sort of person, I'm more of a mythology and folklore sort of person. But the first chapter, because what I tend to do with a book, if I'm intrigued by the back, I'll read the first chapter and see if that sparks my interest. And the first chapter of this absolutely did, because we were seeing things through the eyes of a wolf. And we were a wolf in the forest and the wolf finds a baby. And at that I was getting Princess Mononoke vibes. If anyone's seen Princess Mononoke, then you'll know what I mean about a baby and a wolf. But that first chapter was so gripping. And then we just got more murder mystery, less wolf. And I was like, damn it. So I never finished it. I don't know if perhaps further towards the end there is more wolf and mythology and stuff. But I'm probably never going to finish it because I've started it so many times. What difference would one more make? I'd probably still DNF it. So probably never going to finish Little Wolves by Thomas Maltman. Next, I have 3 books that I have no interest in reading. They are a trilogy. I bought them from my mum. My mum loved them and she gave them back to me. I bought them for her, but she gave them back to me and they live on my shelf. But I have no interest in reading these at all. And it might be a slightly unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people have read them and a lot of people love them. But I personally have absolutely zero interest in reading the Miss Peregrines Home for Peculiar Children trilogy. So we've got Miss Peregrines Home for Peculiar Children, Hollow City and Library of Souls. I have no interest in reading these whatsoever. I haven't seen the movie. The movie trailer looked good enough, but I haven't seen it. I just wasn't on board for the hype. My mum was. She wanted them, so I bought them for her and she read them and she loved them. But I'm not bothered. I know that so many people say like they're so good, you should so read them. Yeah, I don't want to, quite simply. And I might be missing out on something absolutely spectacular. They could be amazing for all I know, but I just don't want to. So I'm not going to. Much less detail about these than Little Wolves. Just not on the train. Sorry. The next book I picked up really cheap. And I honestly think that was the only reason I bought it, because I have no interest in reading it. It was like £1, £2, something stupid. And that is Neptunes Chairs by Susan Wagner, I think. This is a futuristic sci-fi. Zee McAdams is in her 2nd year as a healing empath at a busy London hospital set in 2218, so we're looking 200 years in the future. Pretty sure there's a love story between Z and this alien. A remarkably gripping novel about star-crossed love and future life. So a futuristic sci-fi. Aliens come, but they're not bad, and there are secrets, and she falls in love with an alien, is what I'm getting from this. But I'm not drawn to it. There are other things I would rather read. There are other sci-fis I would rather read. If I want something about a human girl falling in love with an alien, I will reread I Am Number 4, because I'm all about that. And I honestly think the only reason I picked it up is because it was cheap. And the next book on this list is kind of a similar situation. It was really cheap. I think I got it for like £3 or something, so a real bargain of a book, but I think I only picked it up because it was cheap and I really have no interest in reading it. And that is Unspeakable by Abby Rushton. Some secrets are too dangerous to be told. This is about a girl who goes mute and doesn't speak. And she won't speak because I'm guessing she's had some sort of trauma and she's got things that she wants to hide and she can't speak anymore, and she doesn't. I don't know if she can't or if she chooses not to, but either way, she's mute. Something bad's happened. She keeps secrets. Far too contemporary for me. I don't do contemporaries, and this is about Jasmine. Jasmine starts at school, bubbly, beautiful, talkative Jasmine, and for some reason Megan can't quite understand life starts to look a bit brighter. Megan would love to speak again, and it seems like Jasmine might be the answer. But if she finds her voice, will she lose everything else? So is there like a love story there between Megan and Jasmine? I don't know. Is it friendship between Megan and Jasmine? I don't know. But far too contemporary for me, and I'm just not interested. Sorry, Unspeakable. Okay, moving on. Next we have, this is a toughie. This one I want to read, but I realistically don't think I ever will. So it's not that I don't want to, it's just I'm being realistic about the fact that I probably never will. And that is, I've only got one of these books, but really this applies to the rest of the series. The Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. I read A Game of Thrones, and I did really enjoy it. It just took me like half a lifetime to do so. I got like 300 pages into Clash of Kings, and I was just bored. So bored. I feel like these books are so long-winded, and it takes like half of the book for anything to actually happen, and I'm not about that. I want something more fast-paced, something I can really get into and be sucked in, and with this it wasn't like that. It was like a challenge to get to the next chapter, and I would rather read things that I want to read than something that feels like a task. But I do want to read them because the story, when you actually get to something decent, the story is really good. But I've kind of substituted out the books and started watching the TV show, and the TV show is better than the books. And I only say that because the reason the TV show is better than the books is because it doesn't take 8 hours for something to happen, whereas with the books it does. So I'm really sorry, because I know so many people love these, and I think if I had the time and the patience and the effort, I probably would as well. But I would rather read my fast-paced fantasies than something that feels like a chore. Maybe when I'm older and perhaps I will get less into YA fantasy and want something more heavy, maybe I'll read them then. But as of right now, realistically, I don't think I'm gonna read this. The next book on my shelf is one that I've had on my shelf for years, and that is More Than This by Patrick Ness. The cover of this is really cool. There's a little hole, and then the title is actually on the inside, and there's the hole. It's a cool cover, and it's a hardcover with no dust jacket, which I dig as well, but probably never going to read it. Again, far too contemporary for me. I'm not even sure if it is a contemporary, but it's about a boy that drowns and dies, so it's not contemporary because he's dead, so it's an afterlife. But he wakes up. He wakes naked, bruised and thirsty, but alive. So he dies and then he wakes up alive. How can this be? What is this strange deserted place? He struggles to understand what is happening. The boy dares to hope. Might this not be the end? Might there be more to life? Perhaps this is the afterlife. So pretty much he dies, wakes up and thinks, there's got to be more than this. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just not feeling it. And I've had it on my shelf for so long now. Like literally years. I just don't think I'll ever read it. Which is a shame. I feel like Patrick Ness is a really loved author. Mainly because of the Monster Calls, dare I say. And I loved the Monster Calls. But I don't know, I just have no interest in reading this. Or any of his other works, to be quite honest with you. Maybe the desire will strike me one day. I think that's probably why I've held on to it for so long, because it's a really pretty book. Loved, as I say, I love the cover. But I just don't think I'm ever really going to read it, but I'm holding on to it for that potential. I do wish I would remember to put my phone on silent before I start filming. Okay, next up is another book that I've had on my shelf for the longest time. This was recommended to me 5 years ago? Let's say 4 years ago. Could have been 5. Because I liked other things from this genre, and I thought, oh yeah, why not? I'll pick it up. At that point, I hadn't heard much about it. Now I've heard a lot about it, and definitely have no interest in reading it. As if the 4 years it was sitting on my shelf and I didn't read it wasn't enough. I then hear lots about it, and I'm like, no thank you. And that is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This book is a paperback, right, and it is bigger than my head. It's enormous. It's like hardback sized, but a paperback copy, and that immediately annoys me. I haven't read it, so I can't say, but I've heard that pretty much it is every YA fantasy trope rolled into one. Nothing original about it. It's just everything you've ever read before put together. And why would I want to read that when I can read something new and fun? And I've heard a lot of people that have read it genuinely haven't enjoyed it, so why the hell would I? And I'm probably never going to read it, thanks to that. So yeah, sorry Victoria Aveyard, but no thank you. Power is a Dangerous Game. I like the cover, the crown is pretty, and I know like some people do really enjoy this, and I know like the final one came out relatively recently, but it's just not for me. And the final book on this list is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. I got this in an owl crate, I believe? Yeah, this definitely came in an owl crate, and it was the classic remix or something. Pretty much this is a Phantom of the Opera retelling, or inspired by Phantom of the Opera or something. The writing is red, that is quirky, but I am not too into it. Overall, this book doesn't excite me. Like, I'm not feeling it, and I don't think I ever will. And actually, from the people that have read it, I don't recall hearing many good things anyway, so I don't feel like I'm missing out too much. And I can honestly say this is one that I don't think I will ever read. I'm just not interested, so what's the point? And I wouldn't feel too bad about unhauling this or donating it or whatever, because I honestly don't think I'm ever gonna be in the mood for it. Ever. It's just not my thing. But there you go, there is 10 books that I have but will never read. So yeah, any sensible person would unhaul the books that they have that they aren't going to read. I am not any sensible person. In fact, I am not a sensible person, so I'm probably going to hoard them. I might put them into storage, who knows, but I'm not sensible enough to go, you know what, someone else can have these. Maybe I will though. Maybe I'll like force myself to be sensible and get rid of them. Who knows? Anyway, there you go. There's that. If any of these are your favourite books, I'm ever so sorry, but obviously this is my opinion. You know how I feel about opinions. I can have mine, you can have yours, and that is okay. So yeah, don't mean to offend anyone if they're your favourite books, which I feel like a couple of them may be people's favourites, but sorry. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, chat to me down in the comments, let me know books that you will never read. If you've got them and you're never going to read them, even better, so I don't feel terrible about my little collection I've got going on. Yeah, I am really interested to know what books you'll never read. What turns you off a book? What does a book have to have for you to not be interested? For me, a lot of the time it is historical books. I really don't do history. If I see a blurb or something and it says, the year is 1604, I'm like, nope, don't care what happens in 1604, I literally don't care. I could be missing out on things by doing that, but I really don't care. So yeah, tell me what turns you off a book, what books you've got that you're never going to read, what books you haven't got that you're never going to read. Yeah, chat to me. Thumbs up, chat to me. And if you fancy subscribing, I'm always eternally grateful for that. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday and some odd days in between if I'm feeling generous and if I have the time to film. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!